Hello fans, Dameon Nelson welcoming you here to another edition of PWR Express here at PWRshow.com and on our YouTube channel, and as a matter of fact all over the world on all of our video sharing sites. So thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about TNA No Surrender, the pay-per-view that didn't deliver as much as some of us would have expected, especially me. First off, Booker T not able to participate due to not being able to get to the venue in Canada due to his house, and obviously worried about the storm Hurricane Ike in Texas. So some, of course, understandable, but still a big blow to TNA. Also, what was going to be Sting's involvement, what was going to be Jared's involvement. There were so many variables, Kevin Nash as well, so many variables on this show that TNA had a lot of explaining to do. I'm not quite sure if they did it all. Let's go match by match and talk about them quickly. The first match was the Rock and Rave Infection versus the Prince Justice Brotherhood. This match was a good opener, not as solid as most TNA openers have been in the past, but a good opener nonetheless. The Prince Justice Brotherhood walking out with the victory in that matchup. The interaction between Curryman and Christy Hemme was priceless as usual. Awesome Kong defeated ODB in a Falls Count Anywhere match. We saw tables involved in this match. Awesome Kong finally being able to get the win over ODB in that matchup. The team of Abyss and Matt Morgan go up against Team 3D. Unique situation in this match is the fans in Canada were not big fans of the big man, Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan essentially booed out of the building several times during the match. However, that did not cause him and Abyss to lose the match, as they did go on to win and beat Team 3D. And we saw a little bit of a tease of a breakup at the end. I'm not sure if anyone cares about the breakup because they've only been a team for 2 weeks or so. So that match is in the books. Then it was for the X Division Championship, the Canadian champion Petey Williams going up against Consequences Creed and Sheik Abdul Bashir. The new TNA X Division champion is Sheik Abdul Bashir after stealing one after Petey Williams gets the Canadian the finisher. I don't know why I lost the name of that for that moment. Canadian Destroyer on Consequences Creed, and then Bashir coming in and stealing that matchup. Now this, I don't know where I've been, but I missed it until tonight. The first few seconds of Bashir's entrance music, wow, that is crossing the line if TNA wants that to be their mantra, but wow, that is troubling and inappropriate, to be honest with you. But moving on, with Sanjay Dutt versus Jay Lethal, obviously in that Ladder of Love match. This was actually fairly entertaining and very good. Sanjay Dutt really performed. SoCal Val doing the turn, if you will, and giving a low blow to Jay Lethal and causing Sanjay Dutt to be able to win that matchup. Now, a couple of unique new spots we saw in this match, including a camel clutch, or a Boston Crab rather, on top of the ladders, which were set up in the middle of the ring. Very unique. Obviously, you had to get the ring, and then you won the match. It was a Ladder of Love match. Sanjay Dutt doing that. The Knockouts Championship was on the line as Taylor Wilde was successful in her defense against Angelina Love, who had obviously Kip James with a new look and Velvet Sky out at the ringside area with her, while Taylor Wilde decides that she's going to bring out her new friend, Rhino. Rhino coming out, making the save at the end of the match, allowing Taylor to win. Wilde to actually win that matchup and retain her championship. The tag straps were on the line as Beer Money was successful in their defense against LAX. This one not really anything special, but certainly not a bad match. The questions out of this match are how underrated is Robert Roode, and how amazing is Hernandez, because it's just two phenomenal talents in that matchup. No Salinas, it was explained away as Jackie had attacked her in the back. There's some developing story on her situation with TNA that we'll talk about tomorrow night, Monday night rather, on PWR on 540 ESPN, which can be seen at PWRshow.com. The most interesting match of the night was the MMA/amateur style matchup between Frank Trigg and AJ Styles. This one was a bit of a mess. It ended in a no contest due to an inadvertent low blow by Styles to Trigg, I believe. Nobody was really happy with the match from what I could tell watching the show, including the fans at ringside and AJ Styles, who made it a point to go to the announce booth after the match and tell Mike Tenay and Don Weston he's a wrestler, and that's not what he's here for. A reference to the match he had just been in, then goes back to attack Frank Trigg with a kendo stick very violently in the middle of the ring. AJ sporting a pretty substantial shiner after that matchup too. Good concept, nothing we haven't seen before. Kurt Angle did it a couple times in TNA. This one just didn't necessarily go over so well. Frank Trigg cut a promo before the match as well. It was very self-serving, and I'm not sure really helped the matter of getting that match over on the pay-per-view. Then it was the main event. As we said earlier, Booker T not available, can be in this match tonight. There was no replacement named, which I found to be a bit odd. You've got so many people you could do so with. They kept the three. Christian Cage, Samoa Joe, the champion, obviously, and Kurt Angle. They built this match up solidly from the beginning of the show with a solid opening package explaining what cross the line meant, explaining a bunch of stuff about the match, conversations with each participant throughout the night about the match. They really did a good job explaining this one and putting it in position, if you will, to be the top match in the card. Now, when Samoa Joe did his promo, he asked for Sting to come out, face him like a man, and let what be. Very well done by Samoa Joe. Sting did do that after the three participants were introduced. One would have thought Sting would have been the fourth participant, but Sting did announce earlier at the beginning of the show that he would take on the winner of that match at Bound for Glory. So Sting in the main at Bound for Glory, and his opponent is the winner of the match and still TNA World Heavyweight Champion Samoa Joe. After a little bit of help from a returning Jeff Jarrett, who came down at the end of the match after the referee Earl Hebner was nailed outside the ring and hit Kurt Angle over the top of the head with a guitar. And then it was the Muscle Buster, 1, 2, 3. Samoa Joe retains the championship. Now, what was interesting was the return of Jeff Jarrett didn't get met with the hype I expected it to. I mean, this pay-per-view overall was, while a good show and just solid wrestling with 9 wrestling matches, which is substantial, it had no big event feel to it. And TNA usually is able to pull that off when they go on the road. This is their second to last road pay-per-view of the year. Next month they're going to be at Bound for Glory in the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. But this one just lacked something. It lacked that overall big event feeling. There was no Kevin Nash. They teased Mick Foley on the site, updating the teaser image that they have on their site, TNAWrestling.com, with the No Surrender logo. Just an odd feeling overall. I really think the Booker T thing probably threw them off a bit. The Salinas thing probably threw them off a bit. We'll explain more about both on this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report at 540 ESPN, which, in case you don't remember, can be listened to all over the world at pwrshow.com Monday nights, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We have a special guest coming into the studio this week, Sylvain Grenier, and then next week, big surprise, we've actually got the current TNA champion will be on the show on the Pro Wrestling Report coming up next week. But tomorrow night we've got Sylvain Grenier. Feel free to call in to be a part of that. Also sign up for PWR Mobile, which is absolutely free, and the way you can keep in touch with what's going on in the wrestling world and the Pro Wrestling Report. No Surrender is in the books. We'll talk much more about it on this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Until then, this is Dameon Nelson saying thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report Express.
Drastic, classic, I'm interactive. You put me in your computer